especially on a day like this, where most people say, you know what, I can't be asked. Isn't it? It's if you let weather control your mood and what you do, you're in trouble because you live in England. Yeah. So what we need to do is we don't care what the weather is like, and you clearly don't because you're here. That means that you're an action taker, despite external challenges or whatever. All the excuses that some people throw in. You don't do that. So what I would actually like you to do, before we even do anything else, is actually to stand up for a moment. Because you're all leaders, aren't you? Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. You're all leaders. There's a mixture, a lovely mixture of corporate leadership, and there's also self-employment. Whether you have a big team that you're leading, or whether you are leading yourself, which is, by the way, the most important person you need to lead in your leadership role. Now, you have come here and you are a true leader, and what we need to do, especially as women, we need to be proud of that. Sometimes we're a little bit modest about it, but today we're going to raise the level quite a bit. So what I'd like you to do is, for at least 3 people, do a bit of a high 10 and say that we are the bosses. So high 10, we are the Thanks. Some people say, oh, I'm not so uncomfortable with that. Well, you know, most days in leadership and business is uncomfortable, isn't it? Leadership and business is not exactly a walk in the park. So what we want to do is we don't want to be stressed out about it. We want to embrace this role. Whatever leadership role you have, there are certain ways that we need to conduct ourselves, to be really aware about our leadership style, about our personal brand. So even if you're working for an organization as a leader and you are promoting their brand, you are still some form of salesperson, aren't you? A lot of women, we say, oh, I'm not a salesperson and all that, but you know what? As leaders, it doesn't matter whether you work for yourself or not, we are leaders. And we are salespeople, and we need to make sure that we communicate our message really effectively. Now that comes to your profile as well. So we're going to talk about your personal brand today. Normally this is a one-day session, so I'm squeezing a lot of information into one session, but I want to make you aware of the fact that everything affects everything. We can't do marketing without branding. We can't do sales without marketing. So I'm going to give you a snapshot of a sales process that you can utilize. I want to simplify the sales process. Proper school, back to school, I've got laminates and everything, because normally I've got slides, I want to share facts and figures so that you can go away and actually immediately implement these strategies in your life and in your business. So, we're going to cover a few aspects today. We're going to cover personal branding. What is personal branding? What is a personal brand? We're going to be really interactive today. So don't just let me talk, because if that happens, I'll be talking here for a long time. Yeah, Angela.
It's your reputation once you've left the room.
It's your reputation once you've left the room. I love that. And this is especially, it's not only about business, but it's also about you as a person. It's really insightful when you actually ask someone, you know, and your friends and family, what do you think of me? How would you describe me? Because guess what? That is your personal brand. It doesn't matter. You should be authentically yourself. We shouldn't be forced to be someone else when we go to work, but a lot of the time that happens, isn't it? We put a bit of a face on, and that we have to do. But at the same time, do you know what? When you truly develop your true style and character, you can feel so much more confident in who you are and how you communicate. So many times we have a lot of self-doubt, self-sabotage, and all of this is for nothing. I'm telling you one thing, a lot of that self-sabotage comes from our past. We have a lot of barriers that have been basically put into our heads by a range of influences. That could be your parents, your teachers, your friends, family, whatever, even the media, especially the media. There's a lot of different pressures. And sometimes we don't exactly know how to be ourselves and what is that self. So that's quite spiritual. And although I'm a business development consultant, it doesn't matter what strategy I give to people and whatever processes we build, because I have a team and we build fantastic processes that automate systems. And today we're going to talk a little bit about digitalization. But the real key is it doesn't matter what strategy you've got if you haven't got the commitment, isn't it? If you don't believe in yourself, and we also believe in yourself, what on earth does that mean? Because so many times when we grow up, we are not being accepted. So when we are not being accepted, that really spurs a lot of challenging actions, and also sometimes we don't accept the external environment, ourselves, other people, and we wait too much for our external to come and give us the opportunities. Tell you what, when I turned 19, and I'm actually originally, people who know where I'm from don't say, where do you think I'm from? Where is the accent from? You've got something. Poland? Sweden? No? Almost. A little bit further to the east. Not quite. I'm testing your geography knowledge now. It's not good. It's not good. Sweden's very close. Normally I accept that. It's like, yeah, Finland, Sweden, same thing, right? Okay, so I'm from Finland originally. And when I turned 19, I moved away, and I've always been really chatty, outgoing, big personality, and when you do that, people try and, calm you down, don't they? And, that's really difficult, because that, again, is the non-acceptance part. But what we need to do is, we don't need to please everybody. We need to find how to leverage and channel our energy properly, isn't it? It's not about you trying to change and become someone else. It's about you becoming who you really are. But I went on a journey, on a real adventure. When I turned 19 and I moved to Holland, I did some hospitality management studies. And then, because I thought, life is a great adventure, I'm going to do a little bit more. After Holland, I went to France for a year, and I did, again, some studies and some work. And I really started to get into this, I love starting from scratch, but I was craving for career progression, because I'm a really ambitious student, really ambitious worker. And when I didn't get what I wanted, what do? Next, next, next. And although that can be a good attitude in some areas of life, but seriously, it doesn't work like that. We need to build resilience and have a clear vision of what we actually want in life. I didn't know what I wanted. So how can we, be searching for things when we don't even know what we're searching for? If we don't know what we're searching for and what makes us happy, how do we know if we're happy or not? But I was searching for all these external fulfillment. My boss gives me this and that, my friends give me this and that, my partner gives me this and that. Do you know what? I changed 5 countries in 5 years. That is actually a little bit crazy in the end. And I started reflecting, what is the pattern here? What am I really doing here? But I wanted everything around me to change. Does that work? No. It doesn't. It's not the external that needs to change in order for me to achieve what I want in life. What needs to change? Yeah. We need to, if you want your life to change, you have to change. If you want your life to get better, you have to get better. And that is from Jim Rohn. If you haven't heard from him, please look him up on YouTube. Fantastic motivational speaker. And when he told me this a few years ago, I listened to him a lot, thinking, my God, that's it. I've been always waiting everybody else to bring me the results. It's not about them. It's about me investing in myself, developing myself and learning strategies and actually learning to appreciate myself, which I hadn't before. And I was carrying unnecessary baggage, lots of it, that I was suppressing, putting away and thinking, don't worry about it, because that's what I've been told. Get on with it, yeah? Just get on with it. And then it builds up and builds up and builds up, because we don't resolve it. And this is not about you blaming those people that said to you something, because I was told things that I still remember clearly. You're not good enough for this. Somebody even told me, I'm not actually going to list them because they're horrible things, but we cannot keep reminding ourselves about those things. Remove the mental barriers from the past, because those people who told you those things, remember, they weren't in a very good place. And something that you need to remember is that words spoken in the moments of anger are never forgotten. Words spoken in the moments of anger are never forgotten. But don't let any of these words now stop you achieving your full potential, because you have huge potential. And I think we all know that we can achieve what we want, yeah? Go for your dreams and all that. What on earth does that even mean, and how do we really do that? Because law of attraction is all about, just talk about it, you'll get there, but how do we really get there? And seriously, talk about it. Focus what you want, not what you don't want. Us women, I hope you don't mind me being honest, but us women, we tend to sometimes focus a little bit too much on the negative sides, a little bit too much on what is going wrong, a little bit too much on the problems. But as entrepreneurs, as leaders, we need to be solution focused. And to be honest, men are pretty good at that. What we women are really good at, we say, I just want to help people, yeah? All I want to do is I want to change people's lives. I want to make them feel better about themselves. What do men say about business? Oh yeah, you know what? We'll come up with the helping people afterwards. They come up with the strategy first. Now let's find balance between those, because seriously, you have amazing potential to really raise your game. But what we don't want to do is always work so bloody hard. Because I bet, you know, a lot of people who have worked really hard all their life, but they have nothing to show for it. Do you know anyone like that? A couple of people? Yeah? They work. Some people work 3 jobs. They've got nothing. We don't want to do that because they're exhausted. Sometimes I've been exhausted. But what I want to share with you is that you can truly develop the kind of role, career, especially in self-employment, maybe not so much freedom in corporate environment, but at the same time, if you're in corporate environment, probably at some point in the future, it would be nice to freelance that skill set or contract that skill set as well. Because when you are a specialist, because you are truly an expert already in something, you just gotta know what that is. And maybe you know it a little bit, but you don't quite yet accept it. And there's something that I want to share with you, which is 4 steps to change. 4 A's of change. And then we're going to do a little personality analysis, actually. We're going to do a little leadership style analysis today. And I'm going to give you really quite strict timings because we're under time pressure, but I guarantee it's going to be quite eye-opening. But the 4 A's of change is the first step is awareness, isn't it? We have to become aware. We have to be aware of who we are, what our strengths and weaknesses are. Where are we right now? And sometimes we don't quite want to reflect. We're not always that good at reflecting because we just do. Sometimes we think that the more I do, the more I'm worth. No. We want to work smarter again, not harder. But first step is awareness. And I really recommend you to go onto a website called 16personalities.com. This is a great website where you do a proper personality analysis, and it comes out, it's completely free. It's not mine. I tried to become an affiliate, but apparently they don't do affiliation, which is odd for me because this is a fantastic program. But basically, you just start to really reflect on what your true strengths and weaknesses are. Because seriously, you would be surprised. Well, I bet you're not surprised, but how many times I've been told that I talk too much? My God. But I was so relieved that actually I realized later on in life that speaking is a career. So that's great. And that's the thing, is that actually let's find something that someone else might perceive as a weakness and tell it, oh my God, you never shut up. And I'm realizing, you know what, that's absolutely right. That is part of your essence. So how can we leverage your essence in the right way? Because people will be attracted to you when you feel good about what you do. You don't go and buy from someone who is like, oh my God, I hate my job. No, you buy from someone who is interested in you and who wants to provide lots of value to you. So start with awareness, but the second step is actually acceptance. Accept it. Don't live in denial, because I bet you know a lot of people who really don't want to take any responsibility for what's really happening in their lives. We do, because we are leaders. So I don't care what situation you've got, what have you done before, because what really matters is what you're going to do after today. That's what matters. So accept who you are, accept your strengths and weaknesses, accept the environment. I was really resenting my environment before. But then I realized it was me. It was me, as I said, that had to change. And I was always critical of my environment where I'm working, and everything had to be so bright. And do you know what? Once I realized it's not my environment, I went to work in one of the roughest prisons. I worked in Milton Green. And even 2 days ago, I saw somebody in the news that I've actually sat next to, and I'm thinking, those days when I was there, I'm thinking, wow, but you know what? I put myself in a situation where you have to accelerate your learning. And it wasn't, I was aware that I can go and chat to people and get them out of their, basically, those barriers. Where do people need it more than anywhere else is there? So go where your skill set is really needed. But now, as a consequence of all of that, I've been able to develop such unique products, culture change programs, things that really I'm truly passionate about. So whatever you are really passionate about, please do it. Do it, just do it. And stop coming up with other stuff and all these, these excuses that we all come up with. It's okay every now and then, but when you actually procrastinate over something for months, if not years, then you have to really question what's really going on here. But the third step of the change is appreciation. So really actually, no more self-sabotage, no more I need this and I need that in order to be this and that, no. No more courses, no more extra qualifications, because it's always a little bit more so that I'm ready. You're ready now, you're ready now. You just gotta say that to yourself every morning, that you are ready. And if you read about law of attraction, you need to say that to yourself every morning, that I am ready to receive. I am ready, because you are the only one who can decide that. But the fourth step is adaptation. So this is what we actually want to take strategic action, not just work really hard, but actually through those first 3 steps, we align with our values and what we really want. And that's what matters, is that you enjoy what you do, because we seriously spend bloody third of our lives, if not more, at work, don't we? And we spend another third proper stressing out about going in there. We rush into a job that we don't want, and then we get in there and all we wait is, oh my God, when is it 5 or 6 o'clock? Whereas really seriously, work can be so much fun. But you gotta find out what is that essence that you truly enjoy. So we're gonna do a little activity now on personal branding. Now, what I'd like you to do is just in your pair, or in your groups, just start pair up. If there's an odd number, just have 3 in one group, but share one of these. And what this is there is 4 characters on this. And this is a little bit difficult because a lot of people say, oh, I'm actually a little bit of all of those, so I'm not sure. But actually I'm going to put you under a little bit of time pressure, because when you're forced to think really quickly, what happens? Why is quick thinking good? Absolutely, absolutely. And what we women tend to do a lot, too much, is overanalyze everything. Yeah, always overanalyzing everything. But not anymore, because I'm going to give you this and you have to share it with your pair. So if you could, maybe you 2 could work together and you 2 could work together. So you're going to have to read this together and have a look at, you 2 work together and you 2. And have a look at which one sounds most like you. And there's a bit of a fill in the sentence. There you go. So have a really good read of the different characters. Now there are 4 different characters. There's warrior, sage, guardian, and adventurer. Warrior is very achievement focused, likes to delegate, likes outcomes, likes material wealth, and things like that. Then we've got the sage. Sage is more someone who loves harmony, self-development, learning, collaboration. Then we've got the guardian, who is more about leaving a legacy, really looking after people, taking responsibility. and yeah, we need some glasses here actually. Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, I forgot to mention about the extra pieces. That's right. And then we've got the adventurer, who is more of a person who likes to challenge the convention, really live on the edge a little bit, have a bit of fun. Now you've got literally another 10 seconds, 15 seconds to think about what you sound like.
The only problem is, I think, as I've got so when I was younger, my personal life is very different. You've just been as about.
Okay, so now you've got about 1 minute each person to share, so decide who's going to go first, and then you just need to fill in the sentences. So basically just talk through the sentences at the bottom. So I'm going to give you first minute starts now. Carry on. So who's going to go first here?
Probably not.
Yeah, so you go first. So if you fill in the sentence, so read it out loud and fill in the sentence. Yeah, you good? So if you start, yeah, you just speak those out loud. Same for you, you're sharing? Yeah.
She says to the woman who works for the episode, right?
Obviously, when I first started, it was very much to not realise that it was really one journey, and now it's very much a lot more which is good. I don't mind that.
Okay, so what made you have a lip swap?
It was weird. My changed so much in the last 2 years.
One more minute.
Yeah, so what I did is we talk about introductions, how do we get around it. So for example, you see that is my job. My job is to it's just hard, isn't it? I guess that would be like, I'd say that was more than my personal life.
Right, okay, great. How was that? Did everybody get to share a little bit at least? How was that? Let's get some, Helen, what do you think? You're nodding. What did you say?
Yeah, it's quite easy to determine what I'm like and least like.
Okay.
Across the board.
Right.
And then sort of talking about 2 values from it and motivators. So my most like is Sage and least like is Guardian.
Okay.
And my job sort of encompasses all the motivators of,
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's interesting, especially as a Sage, so you can identify yourself a little bit as a Sage, and you are head of quality options, or head of learning, head of
Whatever
development.
that means, that job title.
Whatever that means, a little bit of everything, yeah, exactly, that's what you get when you get into that position, you do absolutely everything. Yeah, and those are, what comes out of those values? What was the key value for you?
Key value, learning.
Learning.
And the development.
Right, so how can you then benefit from that in your business, or in your career?
Well, it's my responsibility to deliver all the learning and development and organise it, but it's a passion of mine as well, to develop myself.
Definitely. And one important, absolutely, one of the key aspects of leadership is not just that you are passionate about something, but you make other people passionate about it too. Didn't we sometimes when we go to school as kids, we didn't make particularly like, I don't know, like history, but we did really good work because our history teacher was so nice, and then really interesting. And actually, one of my biggest jobs, and when I was, for example, working in the prison, is actually spending half the time just get them to want to learn. Yeah, you can imagine all kinds of people that I met there. They're not exactly, they look at you and think, who the hell do you think you are? But is actually get them to want to learn. So what we want to do is we want to promote those values, promote the values that you see in there. So when that comes to, whether it's in corporate environment, so you can promote those values and say what are the benefits of those values in life and in business and in their career in general. Or in self-employment, how could we leverage those values? So for example, let's hear Angela. What do you think? What did you come up with?
So I also came up with Sage as my most like.
Okay, excellent. How is that seen in your life?
Well, I train leadership development.
Excellent.
So learning, spreading, teaching,
Brilliant.
magic.
Brilliant.
And celebrating others, which is the Sage, so believing that everyone has massive potential and helping them to bring it out.
Absolutely. And Angela did an amazing talk last month. And Angela has created a product out of her passion. You branded a product based on those values. So what we need to do is we need to really reflect on what those values are. And although this is a little bit abstract concept, but it's really important that we build a career and strive to go towards those values. Because if every day, if you live by those values, not according to a to-do list or a one-year business plan, but according to your values, you can be, guess what, satisfied right now. We don't need to wait for you to get a job at some point in the future. We don't need to wait until you achieve something. Because what do? We always wait until we have some kind of external achievement to make us happy. But what happens? Few days, few weeks in, what's next? Because I used to be that person. Yeah? We're overachieving, but we're not sure what we're achieving it for. So have a clear objective of what you really want to do in your career. Where do you want to go with your career? What is your real vision? And before we move on to the next very brief activity, I would like you to, with the same pair that you had earlier, just very briefly, in about 30-40 seconds, just share where do you want your career to go. It doesn't have to be anything really calculated, but what is that vision for you? Or whether it's in a certain role, or whether it's in a certain type of business, or whether your business should look like something specific. Let's focus on what we really want. Because we can't hit a target we don't have. We cannot hit a target. If we don't set ourselves targets, how do we know where we're going? You have to be fully responsible for that. Because some people, they have no goals. They just drift from one day to the next, kind of hoping, see what happens. A lot of people say, let's see what happens. No, you decide what happens. You create your life. And whereas that's like, no, that's not true. I've had all these things that's happened to me, and my partner makes my life a miserable thing, and my kids this, and the government that, and whatever, right? I might not be here next year because of Brexit, so you never know. But anyways, let's share really briefly just what would you like your career to look like? Whether it's today, or whether it's tomorrow, or whenever, what is that vision of yours?
So I've gone for lots of training. What did you say? What's your vision? Oh, you didn't? No problem. Let's hear one lady share. Rachel, what is your vision, if you don't mind sharing? No, it's fine. Sorry, ladies. Let's hear Rachel. You can stand up this.
So my personal vision, which I'm really sharing the room today. So I work for Arena Racing Company, so it's the UK's largest racing business for horse racing and greyhounds. But I've been there for about 4.5 years, and I'm just at a point as marketing director that I was just saying then that it's kind of had a new CEO about 3 years ago. The shift in the business is just slightly coming away from marketing. He's a performer, solicitor, and he's very much having a media focus on the business, which is great, but I just feel like I'm losing my touch in terms of what I'd like to do. So I just think, is he trying to step out, to step up, or do I kind of go for that, right, this is my sort of vision, and present that to the team? Because I've been there that long, and I just think, if I get there for a couple of years, I might just go, you know what, I'll do that, I'll transform it, but I just think maybe my time is kind of done there. Maybe that. So
Absolutely.
that's where I'm at.
Excellent. Let's give a round of applause. Thank you. Rachel, what was your personality analysis?
Warrior.
Warrior. Okay. Right. So definitely. So it's about time for you to take charge, because clearly that's inside. So if you don't mind me saying, a lot of what you just said was based on what other people are doing, and well, while that is great, but it's really important that you focus and that what you say now is what you and how you talk about your vision. You need to get excited by it. And actually, when you start sharing your vision with people who actually kind of understand you, rather than say, oh, what's the matter with you? Because seriously, my family, friends, they don't understand, but they don't have to. You don't have to have everybody understand you. But what's really important is that you share your story with like-minded people, you share your vision with like-minded people who actually say, you know what, you can do this. Yeah, you've got the potential, and you know you've got the potential, but as leaders, we are often the little bit stubborn ones, aren't we? And we don't really want to ask for help from other people because we can do it ourselves. I know that because I've been that person. But actually, if we want to progress really quickly and efficiently, because why wouldn't we? Why wouldn't we want the results we want in life tomorrow? And not even tomorrow, but today. So it's really important that you build on that values, on that character. Because a lot of the time, if you look at what you've, let's say this, if you look at your past life and what you've done in the last 5 sort of years, how much of that has been your decision? What we want to do is we want to really make sure that you talk about that vision. You remind yourself of that vision every single morning when you wake up. And every day you can take a little bit of action towards that vision. If you're clear on what you want, it will come to you, but you have to speak about it. That's law of attraction, because what you speak will manifest. And there is something that I want to share in terms of content creation. It doesn't matter whether you share, whether you create social media posts, whether you want to promote the company, whether you want to promote your own product. There is an acronym I want to share with you, and that's FIRE. So FIRE is an acronym for how you can create content that really actually resonates with you, because sometimes isn't it quite difficult to create content on LinkedIn, Facebook, and it's, I don't know what to write, and then we end up doing nothing for weeks, sometimes months, and sometimes not years, and then all those lost opportunities. Or it's not even lost opportunities, the opportunities went for someone else. So it's never kind of late, but actually somebody else got the job that you could have probably done a hell of a lot better. Yeah? So FIRE is an acronym that stands for F stands for fear. Now some people maybe, I don't know what you're like, but when you read something, an article, it's like, oh, if you don't do this one thing, you'll die tomorrow, or whatever, you know, and that's like, oh God, what is it? And then you click on it, right? So how do you get people to get interested in your message, whatever that message is or whatever that product is? So F stands for fear. I stands for inspire. So are you a type of person who wants to inspire and empower people? If that's the case, then every time you're thinking about, okay, I want to just, empower people, just put that on your posts. Don't overthink it, but do this consistently, because seriously, people are looking at your profile a lot. So make sure it represents what you want it to represent. We talked about personal brand. Know what you put out there, because you create your own reputation, not others. You create it. But then R stands for relate. Maybe you've gone through something in your life that now you want to take other people through that journey, but you want to fast track that journey. That's what our services are all about. It's about fast tracking somebody else's progress. That's what business is all about. It's about you providing a solution to something that makes your clients really do rather than in misery. So that's how we want to create content. And then we've got E, which stands for educate. Maybe you're more of a factual person. So we're looking at the personality analysis. Actually, one of those acronyms aligns probably more with one of those styles, whatever your style is. So have a little think about that just at home. But as a last activity, I want to share with you the sales process. That literally, just a couple in this table. Now, what we've done now, we talked about your brand, yeah? So we talked about the personal brand, which is the first step. So if you share that. We have the first step, which is the brand. Because we don't do any marketing if you don't have a brand, do we? So we have a brand that you need to make sure that you have packaged your products or services correctly. This is a huge subject, so I can't go into more detail on that. But the branding is really important in terms of how you represent yourself. What do you put on your profile? Do people really know what you do? And can they actually buy your product online? Or can they, some people say, why are we not making enough money? The product is not available to be bought. This is not rocket science, but so many times, when I analyze somebody's business and have a look at what is really going on, it's not even available to be bought. That everything has to be manually done. That is not effective, efficient way to run a business. So, those are important questions to ask, is how easy is it to buy from me? How easy is it to access me? How accessible am I to my clients in general? Now, the next part is then promotion. Because we can't have a promotion unless somebody can actually go and look at your profile. Because if you promote something, they're going to think, okay, who is this person? Then they're going to go and have a look at your brand. Yeah, so we're working backwards. But then, what we really want to do is we want to have a lead magnet. Now, this is a massive subject as well, but what is a lead magnet? Anybody heard of that term before? No?
It's your hook, it's your call to action.
Yes, kind of, yeah, absolutely, very, very good. So it's your call to action. It's kind of like a, and I'm sure you've consumed lots of these actually. It's that free report. Download the free ebook on XYZ. Yeah, you've done it, and what happens now? You're getting emails from that person, whoever you downloaded that from. Yeah, so it doesn't matter how big the business is, how small the business is. This is the current way to deal with customer acquisition. That's just the way it is. And something that I specialize in is building sales funnels and automated processes to make this actually a lot easier rather than doing everything manually. Because if there is a fault in one of these, if there is a gap in the system, it's destroyed. It doesn't work, does it? The automation and anything digital needs to be really well designed. But no more about that. Then what we need to do, as you can see, there's data capture and analytics. What is analytics? Why do we need to analyze what other people are doing? Why is this important? Sorry? Measure your success, absolutely.
Create models of excellence, so if it works there, why could you not adopt it or change it?
Okay, yes.
And the shifts and the trends.
Yes, absolutely. So if you put out a really good promotion out, and you've got 100 people consuming your free report, or whatever that might be, or free webinar, whatever that might be, so they are consuming this. Now, if 50%, then move on to the next step. Now you've got analytics, but the important thing, and this is where Facebook comes on, and LinkedIn, and all that kind of really exciting stuff that we all really love, isn't it? This is where we can see that, okay, everybody who is clicking and downloading this stuff, they are men between 35 and 45. Why is this important information?
It helps you identify your target audience.
Absolutely. This is so important, and sometimes we try and move on and create demand. No, there is someone who is desperately already needing what you're offering, whether from a large corporation or whether from a small business, it doesn't matter. This is the most valuable information in your business. It's not about entering new markets, it's who is consuming right now because they are ready to buy. So your whole sales process needs to prepare the person to be ready to buy from you. So therefore we move on to engagement. And you get people to engage, whatever you do, maybe you send them a bunch of emails, maybe you send them a video. A few times what I've done is, depending what client, if we're talking about a client who might be worth 10K, right, you need to do a little bit more, isn't it? The more they're going to spend, the more engagement you need to do, the more convincing you need to do, the more testimonials and proof of successes from previous successes you need to show. Because there is a real science behind building successful sales pages. But now the important part is engage with them, provide value. Send them a video and say, hey, Mr. Smith, I noticed that you consumed that video. You know what, I've been having a look at your website and XYZ has happened. I've got some great ideas. I've done that a couple of times. Nobody does that. Seriously, nobody does it. They're like, oh, I've never received a video from anyone who actually cares to look at my stuff right? So you start, be creative in how you're approaching clients. And if we're in HR, right, so if we are in a corporate role, it's really important that we educate the staff how to commercialize these processes. If we're looking for staff, more staff, that is selling. That is selling because you're trying to get them into your business and buy from you, or come and represent your business, basically. But then we move on to sales. So actually, when we are always thinking, okay, I just want to sell this one product, I just want to sell this one thing, but actually there's a whole process, and when we really systemize and strategize on this process, what happens is life becomes so much easier. Because a lot of the time in business, it's a right mess, isn't it? It's a right mess, let's face it. There's always something to improve, and the improvement process in business is never ending. But it's really important that we don't just try and blindly do everything. Work backwards. Think about, what does the customer really want to see? What do they really want to see? What's going to impress them? And we work on the content, because everything these days is content driven. So remember your personal brand. Promote your personal brand. Be proud of your values. But importantly as well, don't try and change between all of these roles, because I bet there was a few of you where you said, well, I'm a little bit of all of them. Align with your authentic self, and that sounds quite spiritual, and it actually is. But it's very important that you align with that and recognize your weakness, because if you know your weakness, nobody can hurt you. Not even you, because I bet you are probably your worst enemy, aren't you? It's this that is going on all day. We need to learn to manage that really well. So identify your brand. At the same time, when you do your leadership character analysis, what really happens is we start to understand other people better. Because now when you look at these characters, you can actually start saying, you know what, actually I have a couple of clients who are like that. So when you start to create your content, what is your client like? Because if your clients are the adventuring type, then you need to create your content and sales copy based on that. Or whether it's sales copy online, or whether it's something you say on the phone, this is really important, whatever business it is. And this is what, because people buy with emotions, don't they? That's so important. But then when we develop the business, it's so important that we have a strategy and a process in place, because it gets very messy and very stressful. And we can make business a lot of fun if we approach it in a very strategic way. So how to really put all of this in place? Well, let me just tell you, it's all about personal and business development. It's really important, because sometimes we watch endless amounts of videos and webinars and stuff like this, but not much happens. So if you are actually ready to put things in place and take the next step, even if you're not quite sure how to do that, that's where I come in, because I've worked with lots of different businesses analyzing what is really going on right now. Remember the 4 A's? But then when you do that, you can very swiftly put the improvement process in place through a variety of strategies. So we deliver masterminds, business workshops, and one is actually tomorrow. Now, and what Sarah said earlier on is, we have one free ticket, so it's a very intimate workshops. The ticket is £65, but I have one place left, and I would like to offer a free ticket. So if you are available for tomorrow, we can take your details, and we're going to do a draw in just a few minutes. And that's a £65, it's an all-day branding and online marketing workshop. So like an extended version of today, where we actually build the strategies. Because when you actually put the strategy in place, you can have a strategy in place in days. When we do it alone, it's very scattered. There's a lot of indecision and a lot of guesswork as to what platforms to use. You're not supposed to use all of them. You're supposed to only use a couple strategically. Do a couple of things really well with high quality, because there's one thing that you want to really focus on in your business, and this is your career. This is your main aim, is to increase your value in the marketplace. You are not striving for these big careers and big jobs and big contracts for you to work 60 hours a week, or whatever you might do. Maybe at the start, yes, but actually importantly, it's about you earning more money per hour, or more money per contract, or more money per program, whatever that might be. That comes through self-development and business development, and really aligning with what really matters with your customers and how you can match that, because you are an expert in something. Position yourself as an expert, and seriously, your life will be amazing when you just work with your ideal client, and they will come to you. You need to be the one who is chased, not the one who is chasing after everyone. But that comes from you with appreciating yourself, who you are, what you've got to offer, really identifying that true leadership style, and then going for that vision that you talked about. And make sure that you talk about the vision with true passion. If you don't get excited by it, it's not the right thing to do. Maybe it was somebody else's vision. Ditch it. And actually, the best way to create your life The best way to predict your life is to create it, write it down the way you want it. So what I would like to do is, if you want any more information about any of the services that we provide, so in terms of done-for-you digital processes, sales training, workshops, even one-to-one consulting, now come and have a chat with me. I can take your details and I can send you some stuff. And that's the last thing what I'd like you to do is just to give you, maybe, I think Helen was here last time, so if you have my card and pass it on, there is a code you can scan with Messenger, and you basically get a couple of free resources. So if you want to have a look at business digitalization or empowering, well, basically building your leadership style, personal development, there's plenty of free resources on there. So if you literally scan this through Messenger, and you will be able to access that anytime. So thank you so much, and from today onwards, remember, it's all about positive self-talk. Remind yourself of the vision every single day, because you are the one responsible for realizing it. So thanks very much, and give yourselves a round of applause.